We've been supporting Jack with Leaf since 2021. At that time we became involved because Jack was living in a residential service with others, which unfortunately broke down. There was some safeguarding concerns, which then led to Jack being given 28 days to have to leave that setting. This was obviously quite a stressful time for all involved, especially with well, obviously for Jack and for his parents. They had to liaise with their MDT to try to find a property for him to go into, but unfortunately at that time there was no other a home of his own, so they had to look at options for like Airbnbs and like holiday homes as temporary accommodation to ensure Jack was able to leave that setting. During this process, this is when Leaf came on a more like sort of rapid response. An initial assessment was done and felt we could meet his needs. So we then were supporting him within these temporary accommodations. But this unfortunately meant that he'd have to change home every 28 days, which is obviously a very stressful experience for him. With us in Leaf coming on, obviously providing that support for Jack, we would obviously have to make sure that we were doing the relevant risk assessments of these temporary accommodations, making sure that the environment was safe and clean for Jack to be there. And then with every move, the office team were then supporting with the staff to transport Jack and his belongings to these new accommodations. And that unfortunately went on for 18 months until Jack was then able to find a property of his own, which he is at now. Jack is now in what we deem to be his forever home. It's a home that's been like, it's more bespoke to his needs. There has been, since he's been, so there was a period where he was having quite a lot of incidents, but with the ability to be able to provide a really core team around Jack, we've been able to see a really steady decrease in incidents, and he's now at a very stable place in that sense, and it's really lovely to see. We were able to appoint a team lead within the team as well, which has helped to really push forward that stability. And Neil, his team lead, is on the ground able to make sure that things are running as they should be. He helps us with completing sort of medication audits and other audits within the property to make sure that things are running as they should. So it's really helpful from the office perspective to have him in place. Jack, at the moment, as I said, he's had the real decrease in incidents and behaviours of concern, but also his presentation is just lovely. At the moment, he's seemingly in a very positive mood. Most of the time, he's always sort of happy and smiling, which is, I know that the team just have some great days with him at the moment as well, which is lovely. They've been able to really improve his quality of life and be able to support him with the taking of positive risks. Taking him to new places that he has had a really lovely time. So some really notable places, as he had a really great day trip to Longley in the not too distant past. He loves the beach and goes regularly throughout the week. He loves swimming, but previously he had been unable to do that for quite some time due to his diagnosis of epilepsy. But with support from his care co and his wider MDT, we've been able to put in really robust risk assessments, which has enabled Jack to go swimming again, which he gets a great amount of fulfilment from, and it's just a really lovely thing to be able to do. A good fun day for Jack would be, I'd say, definitely going to the beach. That's where he seems to be at his happiest. Jack loves food as well, so a day filled with lots of really nice food, maybe getting some fish and chips or an ice cream or something at the beach, I think would be some really key criteria for Jack to make sure he has, a fun day. To help really build some strong trusting relations with Jack's parents, who are heavily involved with Jack and obviously have an awful lot of love for their son. With the history and Jack being having a breakdown in his residential setting and going from different settings to his forever home, with a lot of changes in his staff team along the way. What we have endeavoured to do within Leaf Bristol is make sure that we are keeping constant communication with his parents, helping to keep them informed of what's going on and help to also involve them within elements of Jack's care and support, as they are obviously key people within his life and key advocates for him as well. Lesson learned from us in terms of with the trust and how we are keeping the parents up to date with what's going on is when we in Leaf Bristol began to oversee Jack's support. There were monthly MDT meetings due to some previous concerns about the support Jack was receiving. But after just a few months of support that we were able to provide and being really communicative and informing the MDT of what was going on, they then confirmed that these monthly meetings were no longer required because they had trust in the quality of care that was being delivered to Jack. And I'm proud to say that they haven't had to be restarted because things are all moving in the right direction for Jack. The future for Jack, I mean, there are lots of lovely sort of goals that we've got in place. One key one is that his team want to help to support him to go on a train and take initially a short journey to help desensitise him to the process somewhat. This is something that Jack did as a child but hasn't been able to do for some years. So they'd love to be able to take that positive risk and support him on a train. We want to continue to take positive risks with Jack, explore new places to go, activities to do in and around his local area or even further afield, but be able to add more fulfilment to his day. Want to help Jack to lead a more sort of healthy lifestyle, hopefully help Jack to lose weight in the future, but do that in a slow, steady process. Equally to help build Jack's independent skills. So Jack has been doing really well at supporting the team with elements of his daily chores, sort of cleaning responsibilities. But what we want to really help support Jack in doing is help support him with elements of his kind of food preparation as well. Jack loves sandwiches, so what we'd love to do is help break down the steps of that and help Jack become more independent in making his own sandwiches. Another key event which we're looking to support Jack with is having a barbecue at the beach. Obviously the beach is a very happy place for Jack, so we wanted to combine the two, his love for food and his love for the beach, and to have a celebration and hoping to have his family alongside as well, so we can all celebrate.